I've been here at the Agorama, or the Georgia Museum of Agriculture and Historic Village, which is what we are known as now, for the last 5 months. I actually got my start in Colonial Williamsburg to begin with. That's where I worked before I got here. In here, I am the printer. I do this on my own. There's nobody in here that helps me. My biggest thing right now, though, is my biggest press in here. It's called an 1888 Whitlock flatbed press. Everything in here is hand inked every day. So when I come in the mornings, I actually take what looks like a paint spatula in today's time. It's not. But I come right here. This is my ink trough. And I grab just enough ink that'll cover the press for me.
Wow.
All the way over here. This is called an ink sprayer. It's about 8 pounds. I carry it around. I look like a crazy person, which is okay. Then I come over here and I actually...
Before Ashley Ursery became a third-person interpreter at the Georgia Museum of Agriculture, she studied journalism at ABAC and was an active member in its media programs. Ashley stresses the importance of written history rather than oral history, seeing as how she works with the printing shop. She also made it known that the majority of the people operating these printing presses were women.
And everything in my shop in particular, especially in Tift County, would have been completely done by hand. So if I'm sitting down to fold a paper, or I'm sitting down to cut it, that's why. Actually check and make sure my plates are set correctly and that they are fine. In this one in particular, I have to have 4 plates. Within those 4 plates, everything's right to left and it's all backwards. So if you couldn't read backwards, you couldn't read backwards. This is not the job you really want to be doing. For me, thank goodness, I love what I do. Wonky, and then you can't read it. But I'm going to turn it on and let y'all guys see it. It only prints on one side at a time. So I'm actually halfway through the process now. Here we go.
When that one just went through and curled up, is that going to be bad?
Yes. Yep. I can't find donations. The people that we used to get donations from actually don't have the rolls anymore. They don't use the size that they gave us last time. Actually use a bigger roll, and that's just too much of a waste for us and too much of a waste for them. So trying to find somebody who carries smaller rolls, it's a lot harder.
The problem with preserving oral history as well as written history is funding. The printing press that she uses takes a particular paper in order to print on. Not only is the paper rather expensive, but it's also hard to allocate. Lots of the time when the printer had extra paper, the natural resourcefulness of them and the old-time borrower ways instilled in them would promote them to use the paper for animal bedding or even fire material. And speaking of animals, we took a visit to the Gibbs farm to have a talk with Tommy Cook and his fleece-covered friend.
What's his name again?
Little Tommy. They named it after me. My name's Tommy Cook. They named him Little Tommy.
He gave us a lesson on how and why certain livestock made their way to this region of the state and country, and the many uses for said animals, by first showing us 2 in particular, the Jersey cow and the piney cow.
In the 15th century, when the Spaniards came in, they brought all their livestock with them. And they turned everything loose except their milk cows and their horses. Everything else they turned loose, and all the cattle, all the sheep and everything run wild. They're out in the pines, so that's where they got the name piney cows.
The particular barn that's shown is said to be over 100 years old and was donated to the Agorama, or the Georgia Museum of Agriculture, many years ago. The old times were rough and enduring, with new advances in technology happening every day. The Georgia Museum of Agriculture gives visitors a look into what life was like during the late 1700s, throughout the 1800s, and up until the early 1900s.